Hey guys, hey, it's Bri here coming at you guys with another video, and today I want to talk about something that I get asked a lot, especially in readings, and that is, Bri, what happens when life goes back to normal? Well, first of all, normal wasn't working. Like, do you really want it to go back to that? Because it wasn't working. But we're gonna talk about it, about how we're not really going back to the old normal ways. Things have changed far too much, and things are going to continue to change. So let's talk about it and talk about how it's okay. Like, take a deep breath. It's going to be fine. Yes, change is scary. Yes, it's making us uncomfortable right now, but it's all going to work out in the long run. So with that said, let's get to talking. So I get asked this all the freaking time. Bri, what happens when life goes back to normal? Like, what are we supposed to do? How do we get back to normal? All this stuff. And then I ask my clients this: was normal working for you? So ask yourself this question too. Was normal working for you? Was this 9-to-5 job working for you? Was going to a job where a boss was treating you like crap, was that really working for you? Or what worked was it when you had to go home because your boss let you go and you had to become creative and start making your own money and figuring out how to pay the bills and everything on your own? Did that work better? Because if you're going with the option option B, then you're probably where everybody else is also. There are so many people that aren't ready to go back to work. They just don't want to because it wasn't working for them, and it wasn't working for us. The old way was not working. It just wasn't. It just, you know, we were continually paying the bigger dogs. So we were continually feeding into ego, and we were continually giving these big corporations all this money so they would have these fancy freaking jets and stuff like that, while we were barely making ends meet. We were continually following like sheeps while, you know, the lion was doing whatever the heck they wanted to do, you know, and they were herding us into places and they were doing things, and if they said jump, we asked how high, and that just wasn't working. Now we have this chance to rebuild. Now we have this chance to create something new and something even better, and what's going to come out of it is just, it's 10 times better than what was before. So what we have the chance to do is create something beautiful. We have the chance to do something that will not only make sure that our children are taken care of, but their children are taken care of, and their children get to live in a better place, and their children get to live in a more beautiful place, and it's gonna continue going. Now we're on this like 10-year span that I know of where things are gonna continue to change. We're gonna continue to see things changing. We're gonna get very, very uncomfortable before we even get comfortable again. So we need to get uncomfortable though. We need to go through this stage where we're just so freaking uncomfortable that we're like, you know what? It ain't freaking working. Sorry, Grandma. That English does not go well with my grandmother. Where we can say, this is not even working. The South all of a sudden got to me for a second. Sorry, you guys. I know better English than that. My grandmother was an English teacher. She would not be happy with that. Anyways, we need to get to the point where we're saying that this isn't working anymore. What works is benefiting each other. What works is supporting each other. What works is buying from your local stores. What works is supporting local artists. What works is really taking care of each other, not taking care of these big dogs up here or these high-end stores and that kind of stuff. If you're looking around you, you're probably noticing that a lot of stores are closing. A lot of places closed down during COVID and our corona, or whatever you want to call it. a lot of places closed down. That's okay. Let them close down so something better can be put into their place. I know it's hard. I know we have to go through some of the things. I know a lot of people lost jobs, but I know that some of those people that lost their jobs, they're actually finding more creative ways to make money. They're sitting at home creating beautiful works of projects. They're getting to spend more time with their family. They're not working dead end jobs to barely make ends meet right now. They're actually supporting their dreams for once, and they're chasing it because they had nothing else to do. Like, they didn't have a choice. They had to start chasing their own dreams. So spirit, or the universe, made them super uncomfortable to the point where they had to chase their own dreams, which is why the old way doesn't work. We were in a state of hating each other. We literally were beating each other up. We were creating this madness. We as humans were royally messing things up. We were not taking care of Mother Earth. We were not taking care of each other. We were not even taking care of ourselves, our own well-being. So you could get on the internet any time of day and just see the amount of ugly that is out there. But have you noticed, I know that a few, well, some people still watch the news, but a few of my clients have mentioned how they don't even see the news anymore. They ask me, is media still a thing? Because they don't even see it anymore. It's because we're manifesting it to the point where we don't have to watch the news. We're not looking at the media. We're not paying attention to the lies that they're putting out there or the stories that they're spreading. Instead, we're listening with our own common sense. We're listening with our own inner knowledge and thinking, okay, did so-and-so actually say that? Probably not. They may have, but do I actually know that? And so we're stepping back for a second and looking at it in a different way, learning not to react so much. So with this Mercury now being in retrograde, I'm recording this today. What is today? October 13th. So I think Mercury goes into retrograde today or tomorrow. I can't remember. It's either October 13th or 14th. I don't know. Anyways, I don't even pay attention anymore. Look at me go. Anyways, it's going to send our communication into a whole other world. Like, it's just, our communication's gonna be off for a little bit, but that's okay because we're having to relearn to communicate with each other. We're having to learn to listen. And sorry about that, guys. Apparently Artemis thinks it's still gonna shake. She needs to knock the camera over because she's like, listen here, the old way was not working. And that's on the cat. But it's true. What we were doing before was not working. We were, like I said, we weren't taking care of Mother Earth. We were destroying her. We were literally tearing her down bit by bit. We were not asking permission when we would take a stone from her or when we would dig into her or chop down the trees. I watched just a little bit ago. Unfortunately, they had to trim these trees down because the trees were actually about to literally fall on this house. So these people would lose their house. And I watched as they walked outside, and the guy actually, I heard him say the words, I'm so sorry I have to cut you down, but if I don't, I will lose my home. But I'm sorry. And I sat there for a second, I was just like, yes. That is what we should be doing. We should be saying, I'm sorry before we have to cut the trees down. We should be saying thank you to the animals for their sacrifice and letting them know what they are sacrificing. If you grew up in Wyoming, this is probably a trait that you already do 90% of the time. If you grew up on a ranch or you went hunting or fishing, you probably already know to say thank you for your sacrifice and letting the animal know. Like if you go and get your own cow even, or pig or whatever, or deer, elk, fish, it's just a common thing that I grew up doing. So I know a lot of people in Wyoming do this, but it's something that is needing to be more incorporated, more integrated into our daily lives, is constantly saying thank you to those animals and thank you to Mother Earth for everything that she provides. We can literally get anything and everything we need from Mother Earth. We get the electricity comes from Mother Earth. You know, our homes are built up from Mother Earth. Even like these paintings, this kind of stuff, that's wood for one thing. Well, my finger goes this way. That came from Mother Earth, right? I painted on, these paintings are done on paper. That came from Mother Earth, right? This mantle was created from Mother Earth, right? So our food comes from Mother Earth. So technically she is sheltering us. She puts the roof over our heads and that kind of stuff. All of this stuff is coming from Mother Earth. But we never honored that. We never said thank you for those things. We never took the time out to spend with our families either. We were constantly chasing this big American dream, this big dream. If you're not in America, even some countries I know have chased a big dream, whereas some other countries, they live in a different way. They don't chase those big dreams. They honor Mother Earth. They take the time out. When a mom has a baby, they actually take the time out. That mother actually gets a decent amount of pregnancy leave. Like she gets that whole time. And the dad actually gets some time also. So that's something that you don't hear of in America for one thing. Like, what is pregnancy leave? I know I worked with a nurse one time and I think she took 2 weeks off, and that was pushing it. That was honestly pushing it. Like the boss was actually calling her after 2 weeks saying, hey, we're shorthanded, can you come back to work? And I'm sitting here going, she just had a baby 2 weeks ago. That looks like it hurts. I mean, I haven't had kids yet, but I'm sure my moms out there can say, yeah, either way you have a baby, it's gonna hurt, right? You need time to to actually heal and to bond with your baby, but she didn't get that chance. And within 2 weeks, she had to have a nanny, you know, all of that jazz. We don't give the moms that chance. We don't even give the dads that chance. So how are we supposed to bond with our kids? How are we supposed to learn what our kids, you know, routines are, or what they need, or any of that stuff? How are we supposed to learn who our kids are if you don't even get that? If you only get 2 weeks, like that's not fair at all to the mom or the kid. So that's definitely something that's gonna need to change in the future. There's also sick leave. We've all learned this year that it's still hard to get sick leave. I know a few places actually that they let their people go because they got COVID. And this is with me thinking that there was a law passed saying that you were protected if you got COVID or something like that, like your job was protected, or if you got COVID, you didn't get your sick leave, or like people were literally trying to manipulate people out of their time, their PTO time, or some people didn't even have PTO time. So how are they supposed to take off sick time when they did get sick? What happened if they did get COVID? What were they supposed to do? They didn't have PTO time, right? They didn't have it saved up because maybe they have kids who get sick all the time, or maybe they had kids that had to do stuff. So they were constantly using their PTO time for that. There's a lot of things that just were ugly and not working. We were literally like arguing with each other. We as humans weren't even united as one. We were completely divided up, and none of that was working either. So going back to normal, why would you want to do that? What was normal? Normal was not working. Normal was not working. Normal was destroying us. Normal was tearing us apart. Normal was literally us working ourselves to death. You were literally going to work to pay for a house. You were going to work to pay for your bills. You know, you never got to enjoy that house. You never got to be home. If you bought a boat, when did you use your boat? You know, when did you go out to the lake? On a weekend maybe, because you finally got a weekend off after having to pay for that boat? And before anybody comes at me and says things like, well, maybe they shouldn't be paying for anything that they can't afford. Circumstances happen. Maybe that person could afford that boat and then something happened and they no longer could afford that boat. They actually had to work a lot more, or they had to take on more hours because something happened at work, or they were short-handed, or something along those lines happened, or somebody in their family got sick. Medical, don't even get me started on medical, because that is way too freaking expensive. I am still paying medical bills that should have been paid for through my insurance. And I have legitimately argued not only with the doctor's office, but with the insurance company. Why was this not paid for? Why was this not taken care of? Why did this happen? You know, all of that. And I'm getting nowhere with it. I'm still paying them. I think I pay them like $10 a month, because you wanna know what? That's out of me paying $250 a month for insurance, they paid maybe $200 of that. And so my bill, I think, and mine is the smallest bill, I think it was up to $3,000. I think I'm down to $500 now, and that's me paying like $25 here, $10 here. Like, That's me barely even paying. And that's me arguing with the doctor's office until I got some of that written off too. So, but medical is so far expensive. Like, we can't afford stuff like that. I haven't been back to the doctor's office because I'm sitting here thinking, I can't afford if something actually is happening again. I can't afford that. Like, why would I want to do that to myself? Why would I want to go back into medical debt just to have, you know, to make sure I'm okay? Like, honestly, I might as well take my chances. I know a lot of people that are doing that. I know a lot of people that were let go, that were in the medical fields, because the medical field all of a sudden doesn't have any money. You know, all of this stuff is not making sense. We're realizing that these things are not making sense, that we were lied to, that we don't want to work these crappy jobs, that we would rather chase our own dreams. So again, why would you want to go back to normal when instead we could be heading to something more beautiful? We have the chance right now to clear that slate. We're on like an in-between period right now. So right now we're in between the crappy time to the good time. So right now we're kind of cleaning the slate. We're shaking things up. Things are getting shaked up big time. We're having to change routines. We're having to step into fear. We're having to step into anger. We're having to step into hatred. We're having to find joy again. We're having to create our entire well-being again. We're having to recreate something. We are literally clearing the slate. We have a chance to change things. We have a chance to make a better life, and a safer one also. This is something that I've noticed a lot of, and I'm actually going to do a video on this because I feel like this needs to be said. I have noticed a lot lately, and I know I'm not the only one, but all of a sudden the masks are coming off. We're seeing things literally with a 20/20 vision. We're seeing things clearly now. Pedophilers, you know, sexual assaults, all of that is coming forward. We're seeing, we're paying more attention. We're watching as these things are happening, and we're stepping up and saying, not my child, or not this woman, or no, that's not gonna happen. Like, we're literally taking the masks off of people. We're seeing the people that lied everywhere, you know. I'm not going to go down the conspiracy hole or anything, but we are noticing things in government that just probably should not have been happening for as long as it did, but it has happened. But now we're seeing the truth, kind of, you know, the Wizard of Oz, when you see behind, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Well, now we're seeing the men behind the curtain. Now we're pulling the curtain aside and seeing what really is going on behind the freaking curtain. And we're opening our eyes. And that's where we need to be, is where we're opening our eyes. We're understanding each other. We're helping each other out. We're paying attention. We're creating a better world and a safer world for our children and their children and their children. So we are also the generation that has to do a lot of ancestral healing. So right now, this is a perfect time for shadow work, ancestral healing, all of that. Like, we are realizing that this is the perfect time for that. We're healing all that ancestral crap that's been sent down from generation to generation until it comes to us and we are like, you know what, we're done. I'm done with that. Not dealing with it anymore. So we're the ones healing all of that. We're healing our parents' wounds. We're healing our grandparents' wounds. We're realizing that there's a lot, especially in my generation and even like the generation below me and well, just general, okay? I'm not in my 20s, just so somebody doesn't come snapping at me. I'm not in my 20s, just so you know. But realizing that we have had parents who have abused us, and we're not alone in this. We've had aunts, uncles, stepdads, stepmoms that have done stuff to us, and we're not staying quiet anymore. We're standing up and we're finally saying things that need to be said. We're speaking. We're using our voices, and we're finally getting out there and saying the things that need to be said. So we are finally standing up and using our voices. Our throat chakras are opening right now. We're finally saying the things. We're standing up for ourselves. We're standing up for others. We're standing up for the generations below us, and we're chasing things and tearing down the walls that need to be torn down. So we're doing a lot of work right now. We really and truly are. While we're in this waiting period, while we're in this kind of in-between period that may feel kind of uncomfortable right now, we're doing a lot of work that we need to do. We need to do this work so that we can create a better world. So no, we're not going back to normal. We're not going back to that because it wasn't working. I refuse to go back to that. It sure as heck wasn't working. I had a crappy job when I thought it was working. And you wanna know what? I chased things that I didn't want to chase in the first place, and I kept my voice silent, and my voice is not silent any longer. And I will be using this platform and my other platforms to start using my voice to get out there and help others, especially women. And you guys have the chance to do that too. So no, that wasn't working anymore. So we're just gonna leave that. We're just gonna literally cut it down and say, that wasn't working, and we're gonna go in this direction now, okay? So with that said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know that it seems scary. Change is always scary. Sometimes we fight change because we don't like it, but it's all for the better. I promise there are good things that are coming our way, and we are doing the healing, we're doing the work, and we're creating a better world for ourselves and for our children. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much. If you like this video, hit the like button down below, and if you haven't, well, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.